Flexible, the favourite, $4 out to $4.40 back into $4. Duis is $5 out to $5.50 back to $5. Darling Diamond $7 into $6.50 back to $7. Salto Angel $9.50 out to $12. And as far as the toppers, time out, Gator.
Yeah, was that. I thought the wide run was really costly at Hawkesbury. Then
Championships, the Tab Adrian Knox Stakes.
Half kilo over. Gates are back and they're off and racing here. Easy far left, well off the inside. Darling Diamond and Checkerboard going forward. They're followed out wide by Hamika on the outside of Tycoon Halley. Duis on the fence from Star Point. Wider out is Salto Angel looking for a spot. The favourite Flexible right underneath together with Obvious Step. Then came Credit Crunch. After Salto Angel on the outside of Star Point. Then came Duis, followed by the favourite Flexible, a neck back the outside. They're followed back in the field then by Land Ahoy from Obvious Step. As they start the run at the 600 metres, Seduction Queen gives away a big start and Bargain is still back last. So 600 metres to run. It's Hamiko in front, boiling. Darling Diamond gets up on the inside of Tycoon Halley. Didn't find much. Checkerboard gets going now, followed by Star Point, Salto Angel. Couple further back in the field to Flexible being hard ridden as they straighten up. And Checkerboard moved up to take the lead from Darling Diamond. Then came Hamiko. Duis into the clear. Flexible up on the outside of Star Point, down to the 250, Checkerboard in front. Duis lays down the challenge the outside and Duis went on by. Then Star Point, Flexible. Bargain coming with a good run late. It's Duis in front. Bargain goes to second wide out. Duis in front from Bargain and Duis there for it. Cummings takes it out. Beat Bargain and Flexible third. Then Star Point. Further back to Sonora Nira from Land Ahoy and Checkerboard. Further back to Darling Diamond, Seduction Queen. Easy far Hamiko, Obvious Step, Credit Crunch, and Salto Angel weakened out together with Tycoon Halley.
Duis, number 5 in the Group 3 Adrian Knox Stakes with Hugh Bowman on board for Edward Cummings on his own. That is his biggest win as a trainer. He co-trained Group 2 Villiers winner Star Boy with the first of our Group 1s coming up. Race number 6, the English Sires, 1400 for the 2-year-olds. Here's Darren.
I do have Animo on top like most people. He's running the slipper was sensational, but I still think there's 2 possibilities that he could get beaten. Halal is exceptional value at the $13, and I think 4 moves ahead is going to get
on the slipper. Look, he only has to cope with a few hard runs that he's had and take advantage of that barrier to hold a position, and he probably nearly wins.
And his parade was better, so he goes on top of the others. 4 moves ahead is presented in her best.
There's 10 out defending, handful of others at big odds, headed up by Queen of Wizardry, 31 out to $34. And they're about to step out onto the
yeah, he picks himself. Just an outstanding run in the Golden Slipper. If you're against
off and racing, great line out in the Sires there, and jumping quite well was Tiger Malay from a wide draw, but 4 moves ahead is quickly on the scene together with Lightsaber going between them. Chill races into 4th, and Animo in a decent spot on the outside of Daily Bugle. A gap of 2 lengths further back to Captive On in the early stages from Queen of Wizardry, and Halal's been taken back to last. Tiger Malay got across from the outside draw and takes the lead by a length on Lightsaber, and 4 moves ahead lands leaders back third, a length off to Chill, then Daily Bugle 3 back the fence, a length and a half to the short price favourite Animo from Queen of Wizardry, Captive On, and 2 lengths away to Halal. Tiger Malay held together approaching the 600, a half in front to Lightsaber, then 4 moves ahead, a length further back to Chill. Daily Bugle, Animo has 3 behind Queen of Wizardry, Captive On, and Halal stoked up's last of all. It's Tiger Malay held together, turning the corner, 4 moves ahead, is getting plenty of room to go through as Lightsaber gives ground now. It's Tiger Malay being challenged by 4 moves ahead, Daily Bugle, and here he comes, Animo. He let loose in a stride, and the colt charges to the lead of the 200. Halal's coming down the outside, and then came Captive On, but Animo's well clear. Halal and Captive On fight out second and third, but a cosy victory in the English Sires for Animo. McDonald eased him right down for a 3-length win from Halal. Ahead away Captive On, then Queen of Wizardry. 4 moves ahead, dropped off with Daily Bugle, and a good long gap back in the field to Tiger Malay from Lightsaber and Chill.
Well, that is 50 Group 1s for James McDonald in his career. I'd like to quickly go back through the last 50 and see see if I can find an easier one. And a typical J. McDonald look around, shake his head in almost disbelief, but I think he knew something like that was in the box. Animo.
Well, he's a really good colt. Well, from what he did today, the next question is, has he got one more left in him, a Champagne Stakes? The way he relaxed, the way he's sprinted, he'd have the race at his mercy if he wanted it. There's no doubt about it. The two other back markers, Alal, Captivon, pretty good. The rest were just whacking away there like...
When Animo repaid the faithful with this outstanding performance, one of the best sires wins in recent memory.
Yeah. He's a good colt. He's an outstanding colt, really. And I just love the way we all were waiting to get to 1400, obviously, but I was a little worried. Sometimes you see these horses out the back steaming home in races, and then all of a sudden there's a race you draw better in, and you've got to give them a kick in the dig in the ribs and say, OK, you've got to put yourself in the box seat today, and they say, whoa, and they want to over race and do things wrong. But no, he was just a beautiful ride for McDonald yesterday. He relaxed, he waited.
He was incredible. He was incredible. His turn of foot, like Greg said at the top of this segment, the way he won the sires yesterday, I haven't been around a long time, but I haven't seen a horse win with such ease. And I don't think, you know, the couple of horses that ran second and third behind him were any slouches.
No way.
They were certainly great contenders, but the way he did that was absolutely breathtaking, and looks as though he's going to be very hard to beat in a Champagne.
Yeah, and Ronnie?
$1.50.
Hard to beat in a Champagne.
Yeah, and Ronnie?
$1.50.
$1.50 for you?
Yeah, all in.
All in.
Yeah, look, Alal was, if he comes out with a CV...
Does it add value to him if he wins a Champagne?
Of course it will. Yeah, that's how they work with these Group 1. He could be horse 2-year-old of the year. He gets that on the mantle if he wins the... Well, I'm not getting ahead of myself.
Or how can he be 2-year-old of...
Well,
Well,
he's run second in the Slipper. He wins the size. He wins the Champagne.
Well, he doesn't win the Champagne.
He's nearly a Triple Crown winner, and you stay inside's won the Slipper, which helped. It goes a long way. But I've seen... There has been horses in the past that have probably won the other two legs and maybe placed in the Slipper that have beaten the... Just because you win the Golden Slipper does not make you the 2-year-old of the year.
But you can also add a...
Congratulations, James.
All right, one of the big ones, the Bentley Australian Derby, a Group 1 over 2,400 metres for the 3-year-olds. Let's go up to Darren Flindell.
Yeah, I thought the filly could win this, Montefilia. Her run in the Rosehill Guineas was good enough coming from right out the back, but obviously the two that she was right behind there, Lions Roar and Skylab, they're great chances, and Quay best.
It was good last week in the wrong part of the track. The gear change of blinkers appeals, and if my memory's right, Lizzie, I thought he went to pieces last week.
He was...
Coming into there, but it's always been the plan, and she's ready, judging by the Rosehill Guineas run. Hard to hold out.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Second of the Group 1s on day one of the championships is the Australian Derby for the 3-year-olds.
I think he's matching the parade against a few of these horses who are well in the market, like Skylab and Monte.
And they're off from the Bentley Australian Derby. Rondino gets well back, and Montefilia has jumped about midfield. The front man and Yale Town wide out first to into stride. Prom Prodigy poking through between the pair. Toscanini and Quay into forward positions, and Rocket Spade is right there on the rail, so it's a Kingo for the lead. Skylab parks up on the outside of Montefilia, so Collett's got the filly very handy turning out of the straight, but there's still no established leader yet. Milford's cast a bit deep, so's Young Werther on the outside of Lions Roar. Olympic goes back, taking closer order as they work down the back, and it's the frontman in front here in the Derby, leads by a length to Prom Prodigy. Quay third, followed by Toscanini. Milford cast 3 deep at this point, further back to Rocket Spade, then Yale Town. Young Werther out in the check cap as deeper out trying to improve. Then Skylab back on the inside, the favourite Montefilia from Explosive Jack, has got in front of a few horses now. Lions Roar, Favreau improving. Well back came Olympic Gaze, and Rondino's about the last one. 700 metres to run. It's the frontman in front from Prom Prodigy. Milford in third, then Quay, Toscanini, Young Werther. Favreau starting a run at the 600 metres. Skylab gets going. Back on the inside, Montefilia is trying to pick up. on the inside of Rocket Spade, coming up to the turn, and it's the frontman swinging in front. Montefiore is getting a rails run, and the filly starting to come into the race. Quay moved up on the outside, then Youngworth and Milford, and further back to Rocket Spade. It's the frontman being tackled by Quay. Montefiore has gone one pace coming down the outside as Lions Roar. Explosive Jack and Youngworth are between them. Here's a go in the derby. It's Lions Roar and Explosive Jack. Explosive Jack goes to Youngworth. I think Explosive Jack wanted a nose to Youngworth and a head away to Lions Roar. Then came Montefiore, followed by Quay. Further back to Rocket Spade. Favreau, the frontman from Olympic Gaze. A gap back to Rondino from Zach Speed, Skylab, Toscanini, Milford, and the last two, Yale Town and Prompt Prodigy. It's a photo in the Bentley Australian Derby.
And let's have another look at this. Explosive Jack. If he gets there, history will have been made. A Tasmanian Derby winner winning the Australian Derby. Lions Roar in the middle, Youngworther on the inside. As they draw close, Explosive Jack and Youngworther. It looks like Jack, and it is Jack. Explosive Jack number 10. Well, Johnny Allen, Kieran Maher, David Eustace over Youngworther and Lions Roar.
Presented at the right time. Slowly run derby, but yeah, it's a few questions have to be asked after that race.
10-7-1-16. Youngworther's run.
The filly is getting a rails run, and the filly starting to come into the race. Quay moved up on the outside, then Youngworth and Milford, and further back to Rocket Spade. It's the frontman being tackled by Quay. Montefiore has gone one pace coming down the outside as Lions Roar. Explosive Jack and Youngworth are between them. Here's the go in the derby. It's Lions Roar and Explosive Jack. Explosive Jack goes to Youngworther. I think Explosive Jack wanted a nose to Youngworther and a head away to Lions Roar. Then came Montefiore, followed by Quay. Further back to Rocket Spade.
They enjoy some of those races, the owners of Explosive Jack. There's no COVID here.
No.
There's no COVID here. The Tasmanian Derby winner wins an Australian Derby.
And very well tried all through the week. Just kept chipping away. There was confidence in the camp. I know it wasn't a brutal staying test because they ambled through the first half of that race, but I still think it turned into a staying test, a real staying test, because they were out on their feet on that testing track yesterday. And this horse, you know, this is a horse that had his third start in a race in a mile and a half as an early 3-year-old at Kembla Grange and beat the older horses. And then he went on to win a Tasmanian Derby. He's as tough as teak. He come in, you wouldn't know he wouldn't blow a match out. He could be a Cups prospect in years to come, this horse. Believe me, he's got
feet on him like dinner plates.
Has he?
He's big. Not only is he a big horse, really good bone on him, but he's got huge feet as well. And he takes a fair bit of you can see he takes a fair bit of racing to get fit and wound up. But gee, that was
by Jacklebury.
That was a huge, huge run. I thought Youngworther was excellent. Coming off of the Tulloch, he was very fresh when he was parading in the Tulloch. He was a completely different horse, and we know he can run the trip out strongly. And Lions Roar, well, he put up a great performance. He actually bumped Jack out of the way at the top of the straight, and that probably took the wind out of his sails. Looking,
I'm not bagging her because she's still early in her preparation. Skylab was just so flat after that gutbuster in the Rosehill Guineas and Spell.
Yeah.
Aaron Flindell ahead of the Heineken TJ Smith Stakes.
I think Beaverback can bounce back today. He's got the draw. Bowman's had a lot of success on this guy in the past, and I think he'll just camp right in behind the speedsters, hopefully get to the outside and the better going, and Beaverback bounces back to win the TJ.
An easy trial since having excuses in the Canterbury Stakes. He was just a bit fresh and wanted to charge mid-race there. So surely he's a peak horse third up. He should also 5 weeks in a trial win since his last start. He was obviously sensational winning this race last year on a similar track, I must say. Beaten in record time, second up there in the challenge by Eduardo at 1,000 metres. Softer surface and the softer draw certainly appeals, and I must say he realised they've pushed him out too far in the market. They're really coming for this horse now. Just on the NOP for 420 into 360 now and vying for favours with a brilliant brilliant ride on a bias track the other night, winning the Group 1, but I think he's really come of age, this horse. He's turned into a man. His past couple of runs have been outstanding. Well, all his runs this preparation have been outstanding, and who knows?
Really dominant win in the Galaxy, and I expect him to go on and run really well in this race.
Gator, you like Bivouac?
Yeah, I do. I think it's obviously an elite race, but he was just outsped at the 1,000 metres in the Lightning, and then just reared at the start in the Canterbury race and worked mid-race. I think from this draw he can just be safe or run in behind them. Nature Strip's going to take some beating. He was touched off by Eduardo. They broke the track record. Eduardo then wins the Galaxy with.
In 1997 as the Endeavour Stakes with the great Mahogany got the cash, and subsequent winners including a 3-timer in Chautauqua and a 2-timer Black Caviar.
Yeah, Black. And he's well in the market. Light on. Here we go for the TJ. Gates are back. They're off. Eduardo jumped brilliantly. Eduardo land about a length in front from Nature Strip, who goes up on the inside. Libertini's pretty handy. Bivouac as well. 11-11 next from Order of Command. Then came Dirty Work, Masked Crusader, and Satori's the last one. So Eduardo's got the lead all on his own in the early stages. And Nature Strip moves up on the outside. 3/4 now a half length away. Libertini sits third on the inside of Order of Command, and Bivouac is fifth. One off the fence from 11-11. Then came Dirty Work, Masked Crusader, and Satori's last of all. They've got 600 metres to run, and Eduardo not overdoing it in the lead. He's out by a half on Nature Strip. Then Libertini from Order of Command, 11-11. Dirty Work pulling out from Masked Crusader and Satori into the straight now, and Eduardo is the leader from Nature Strip, and they're broken clear from the rest, but Nature Strip moved up, put paid to Eduardo at this point, and Nature Strip draws a length and a half, 2 lengths clear from Eduardo. A gap back to Masked Crusader, but Nature Strip goes back to back in the TJ, and this is an annihilation. Masked Crusader got up to run second in front of Eduardo. Satori third, fourth, followed then by Bivouac. Further back to 11-11, Dirty Work, Libertini, and Order of Command.
As impressive as he was in this race last year, he goes back-to-back in the TJ Smith. If that horse turns up, like the horse that turned up in this race last year, if he turned up each and every week, they'd never beat him. They wouldn't get close to him. When he's good, he is very, very good. Masked Crusader.
He puts paid to him, and he was just on his best behaviour today, and this is what he loves. This was similar to last year. He got a wet track. He half rested himself. He's flying that Masked Crusader. They didn't go that hard, really, for that class, and he's really motored and finished off at the finish there. He is airborne, and the Newmarket winner has gone all right there. Satori, Libertini just needs a drop.
Satori into the straight now, and Eduardo is the leader from Nature Strip, and they're broken clear from the rest, but Nature Strip moved up, put paid to Eduardo at this point, and Nature Strip draws a length and a half, 2 lengths clear from Eduardo. A gap back to Masked Crusader, but Nature Strip goes back to back in the TJ, and this is an annihilation. Masked Crusader got up to run second in front of Eduardo. Satori third, fourth, followed then by Bivouac. Further back to 11-11, Dirty Work, Libertini, and Order of Command.
Happened last time. 2 phenomenal performances in the one race, the TJ Smith Stakes.
Well, he's a brilliant horse. We all. He's a little bit maligned because of his SP profile, where he's been beaten at odds on a few times when everyone thinks, he has to do it every time. But oh, gee, he's got a lethal 200-metre sprint on him, this horse, and he doesn't have to use it the last 200 metres. He uses it at different stages of his races, and that's exactly what he did here. But he used it a bit later, maybe between the 300 and the 100, or the 400 and the 200, where he's run his big split. Sometimes he does it between the 6 and the 4 and puts a gap in them. But no, it was his game yesterday, and I've never seen him relax better for the first 500 metres of a race ever. Where he just sat a length. He was just simply supreme. Loved that, McDonald, didn't he? What about this horse, Masked Crusader? Now, he's a good horse, and he's a more mature horse now. He's got to learn to jump out the barrier better than he has done of late and throughout a few times in his career, but there's no doubting he is a much better horse. Is there anything in his physique that says that he's more mature now, or is he?
He's got the biggest problem is he's a sprinter and he misses the start.
Yeah, I think he's a likely Everest horse personally.
He's only a 4-year-old.
Yeah, he's an Everest horse.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, but he's you miss the start.
Yeah.
Like you just can't.
The high pressure race will suit him.
It will suit him, but it's still not ideal.
No.
Like how far he missed the start.
4:50 in the Tab Everest. Nature's. I don't know how long. If you add up the time he's been favourite for any particular Everest, it's a long time, more than any other horse. So the Everest is the main aim for Nature's Strip. Classic Legend is coming back to Australia. Mars Crusader, as Duff said, he will be an Everest horse. Guy Tra... The Star Doncaster Mile, a Group 1 over the 1,600 metres here at Randwick, the famous starting point. Let's go up to Darren Flindell.
Jeez, well, it's hard not to be impressed with the ease of Mugatu's success in Melbourne in the All-Star Mile. Just held up, and when he got the gap, he went through to win pretty impressively. I do like Mugatu. Very wary, though, of Agon under the conditions here. I think he's much better placed here, third up.
I still think he's a class horse who was brilliant winning the All-Star Mile first up, soft track ideal, beautiful draw. The way this track's playing, probably off the fence a little, gives him more room to move, going well, loves Randwick, big swooping finish on him here, and McDonald with a win.
But this is how he looked when he won.
Cascadian, Jamie can think it over, not running in the Doncaster. Fun Star number 13, Craig Williams, Chris Waller.
Well, she's got blinkers on today. Won't know herself back down the weights. She hasn't had 52.5 since, well, going down narrowly to Probably in an Epsom over the Randwick. Good 3-year-old, sets up well from the Guineas win. Great winning chance here. Just a few little things have to go right for olds. The 3-year-old filly. She's had a lovely trial since having no luck in the Coolmore. Previous win was brilliant, and
Ice Bath gets into the field. Jay Ford, Brad Widdop.
Yep, honest as they come. The wet track is probably her best chance here, and it's stayed relatively wet enough for her, I'd say.
Yep, I agree with you. Still always is. I'm going to stick with Mugatu. I liked him all through the week, and just seeing him parade today, I thought, you know.
And Zaki now is the last to complete the lineup. Funds today. And they're off and racing. Natoya dawdled out last and Rock gets back. Mawunga being eased back from a wide draw. Now Almeida jumped well with Samadout and Yao Dash is right there. Fun Star going forward with Best of Days getting past Forbidden Lava. The Mugatu camps right behind them from Dalasan, and charging through the pack is Shout the Bar into a more prominent role. The second half of the field is Ice Bath on the fence, followed then by Cascade in between runners. Wheelhouse is deeper out. Further back then to Star of the Seas from Rockavilius. Looks as though Zaki's caught very deep. 3 lengths away to the 3-year-old Mawunga, and last year's winner Natoya last and nearly 20 lengths off the lead. Going to the 800 metres, and Almeida shows the way by a length on Yao Dash. 2 lengths to Forbidden Love, who lands a great spot on the inside of Samadout. Further back then to Best of Days racing in the red cap on the inside of Fun Star, then Dalasan the rails. Further back to Shout the Bar, Mugatu, one off the fence in a bit of traffic with Ice Bath getting up the inside. They're followed by Wheelhouse. Further back to Cascade in between runners as the big field turns for home down to Almeida in front. From Forbidden Love they beat off Yao Dash. Then came Samadout. The inside is Ice Bath from Dalasan, who's picking up down to the 250. Forbidden Love in front. Here he comes Mugatu now. He's giving chase with Cascade in the outside and Ice Bath up the inside. Cascade in wide out. Dalasan through the centre. Ice Bath along the rails. It's Ice Bath and Cascadian. Ice Bath, Cascadian. I think Jamie Carr's won it. Cascadian the outside of Ice Bath, and the great finish to the Doncaster. Dalasan's run third. Mugatu got his chance from Zaki running on well. Then Forbidden Love from Natoya, Star of the Seas, Rock Agon. A gap back to Mawunga from Wheelhouse, Best of Days, Samadout, Shout the Bar, and Fun Star.
Cascadian with the baldy face, number 10. Jamie Carr and James Cummings, they've won the Doncaster. They've denied Ice Bath. Cascadian with this conspicuous baldy face has grabbed it right on line. It's going to be close, we'll confirm it. There it is. Cascadian, Ice Bath, Dalasan, Mugatu across the line, then Avilius. The Doncaster of 2021 goes 10-21. She's strutted into town and claimed Sydney's biggest mile off the back of an incredible season she's having in Melbourne, where she leads the premiership with 80 wins. A remarkable 12 months for this remarkable lady. 10-21.
Down Almeida in front from Forbidden Love. They beat off Yao Dash. Then came Samadout. The inside is Ice Bar from Delasan, who's picking up down to the 250. Forbidden Love in front. Here it comes Mugger 2 now. He's giving chase with Cascadian the outside and Ice Bath up the inside. Cascadian wide out. Delasan through the centre. Ice Bath along the rails. It's Ice Bath and Cascadian. Ice Bath, Cascadian. I think Jamie Carr's won it. Cascadian the outside of Ice Bath, and the great finish to the Doncaster. Delasan's run third. Mugatu got his chance from Zaki running on well. Then Forbidden Love from Natoya, Star of the Sea.
Right on the line, and while the James Cummings stable and Jamie Carr supporters were celebrating, Brad Widdop and poor old Ice Bath were beaten in a photo by a Godolphin horse for the second time after she went down narrowly to Colette in the Golden Eagle. I'm thinking of Brad Widdop this morning.
And he used to work for them. That's probably
he used to work for them. But it's premiership by a considerable margin. We don't get to see her much in Sydney. She comes to Sydney and she wins the Doncaster.
Was there ever going to be any other story? You know, really, the writing was on the wall all week. There was going to be about the Jamie Carr show. Great jockey, terrific jockey. And look, she's unique. I think she's a little bit shy. I don't know. I'm just trying to read between the lines. I remember back...
What do we say about Cascadian?
Well, he's been a work in progress, I think. That's an understatement, maybe, but I reckon he's just... This preparation was probably the time that he's come back the best. He's been handled well. He's found a race where... Would you say that this was a Doncaster with a lot of depth, Ronnie?
I think enough depth. Yeah, there was... Every horse bar Wheelhouse was rated over 100. There was 11 Group 1 winners in the race. So I think that tells you it's a race with a lot of depth. And look, he dead set come back much better. He's a horse that's had no luck throughout his career. He's always run well in the Group 1 miles, and he got conditions to suit. He loves the sting out of the ground. He got a legitimate soft 7 there yesterday, and wins his, you know, his grand final more or less. She was unbelievable, Ice Bath, and we might say, oh, bad luck, Brad Widdop and connections, but 2.3 million for those 2 seconds.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what it's cost them? Yeah. 5 million.
Well, you can look at it...
Look at it two ways.
Yes,
okay. 2.3, 2.4 is wonderful. There could be an extra 5 in the bank.
Ronnie today is being the black to the white, isn't he?
Yes. Yes. Listen.
Order there. And you can go down the page now. Mugatu, I thought he had his chance. He was presented at the right time. Avilius was solid again. There was no doubt in the wide world that the best run in this race was from old mate here, I'd never heard of him, Zaki. First, fancy taking on a Doncaster mile, an import having his first run in Australia. He got caught wide, he got hampered at the top of the straight. He's flown into 6th position there.
He's in the red colours back about 5th last.
Yeah, blue with the red V.
Yeah.
Carl Holt's
colours. Is that him? No, it's in... Sorry, he's behind that horse.
He's behind them.
Yes.
So I think...
He comes darting through
the middle. He's going through the middle.
So he's going through the middle. Regan Bayliss, he goes to the right of Rock, and he finds the line. This is probably the time when he could really start urging him along and getting into him. And look at him finish this final 50 metres of the race. He has got a big race written all over him.
Regan Bayliss said that when he came back and gave the jockeys comments in the room. He said this horse will win a big Group 1 in Australia.
Well, yeah, he will, and I doubt that'd be next week. If he was mine, I'd be... He could take the Brisbane Winter Carnival by storm, that horse, on that performance. You know, the Doomben Cups, whatever you wanted to do with him, just looking at him, I must say. But we'll leave that to connections and trainer. But he could be something.
Draws the gate. How does he go? He drew 20.
Oh, it's easy to... I don't know. He does look to have he ran good races overseas, and he did present well, didn't he?
Yeah, he looked $1 million. think that they've got a bit of deciding to do. Obviously, there's the temptation of possibly running him in a Queen Elizabeth, but I think the initial plan was to run him in the Hollandale and then continue on through that Brisbane Carnival, and those look like suitable races for him. But, as you said, we'll just leave it up to trainers and connections as to where he goes. But there's one bit's for sure, is that he's definitely a talented horse, and he's going to add to the ranks here in Sydney and around the country.
There was a late scratching in the Doncaster just prior to the running of the TJ Smith. The vets were in the steward's room.
Oaks win. She's looked fantastic record. She's obviously top class. The only filly proven at 2,400 metres here, and I can understand. She's really found a form on these drier tracks of late, and even had to overcome the bias doing so. She's got a great chance. I agree with Darren. I'm a bit worried about her this now. She was terrific in the Vinery. We all know that. She had to be ridden that way for the bias, the way the track was playing that day. She was the only survivor.
Mr. Gately, you like the Kiwi, Amaralinia.
Yeah, she did a bit of work early in that New Zealand Oaks. She certainly, then she got in, made an early move. I liked the way she knuckled down well. There were gaps behind. She's since won a trial brilliantly. Her eight...
The gates are back now, and they're off and racing. Dewis immediately snagged back from the wide draw. And Sonora Near and Harmony Rose, the first two out. Impecunious is poking forward on the outside. Bargain there on the inside of Hungry Heart. They're going pretty steady early. Amaralina's caught three wide in the early part on the outside of Landahoy, and Sassy Sav going up the fence. Modafilia taken back, and Dewis is the last one. So Harmony Rose hacks away to the front. Rose going along at a pretty sedate tempo, it has to be said. And at the 1,200 metres, Harmony Rose held together a length in front of Impecunious. Bargain in third, then Sonora Nera, followed by Sassy Sav, Hungry Heart, then Landahoy. Length and a half then to Amaralina, the New Zealand Oaks winner, who's still back third last from Dewis. And Modafilia stands them a big start. Down the side of the course now. Harmony Rose in front by a half length to Impecunious. No moves at this stage as they approach the 800 metres. Bargain's had a great run behind them third. Then came Sonora Nera. Further back to Sassy Sav on the inside of Hungry Heart. Two off to Landahoy from Amaralina. Modafilia is trying to improve now, and Dewis had dropped back to last. This has been a very soft lead for Harmony Rose, and they haven't even quickened as yet. Harmony Rose being eyeballed now by Impecunious, the outside. Sonora Nera. Hungry Heart gets going. Bargain needs a bit of room. Modafilia and Amaralina are starting to wind up as they climb the rise, and Harmony Rose in front. Hungry Heart moves up strongly on the outside. Amaralina runs on from Modafilia. Hungry Heart takes the lead of the 200 by a length and a half to Amaralina. Bargain into the clear now. Hungry Heart in front. Dewis is getting a late split, but Hungry Heart in front of Dewis, and Bargain, and Hungry Heart goes on to win the Australian Oaks. What a length to Dewis. Bargain third. Then came Amaralina from Modafilia. Further back to Sonora Nera. Harmony Rose drifted out from Landahoy, then Impecunious and Sassy Sav.
Number 3, Hungry Heart, has won the Oaks, the Vinery Oaks double. For Chris Waller, who trains his 4th Oaks victory, and he goes to 123 career Group 1s. Karen McAvoy in the saddle, that's 79 for him. It's Hungry Heart, too good, winning the Oaks.
Well, hasn't she come of age? Well, hasn't she come of age? Bang, 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 the far lap, the Vinery, and now the Star Australian Oaks. And he knew he had to get on his bike and get moving there, Karen McAvoy. And
Has now won back-to-back Group 1s off the back of the Vinery. She now wins the Australian Oaks.
Well, she always threatened it at 2, but she has really turned the corner, confirming her talent now. She stretches it out to 1.5 miles. So that just opens so many doors for her come the spring. And at that time of year we start talking Caulfield Cups, probably is again with these 3-year-old fillies. But no, she was an absolute ripper there yesterday. Do a terrific again. It was just a beautiful ride by Bowman. Look at him come through here, minding his own business. He gets on hungry. A great Bowman ride there, I would have thought. Bargain was good again. Amaralina, first prep, so probably all too soon for her. I'm not knocking her, and well, the Modafilia, still little doubts on her staying ability, but she definitely turned the corner, hasn't she?
Definitely turned the corner, yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, she certainly has evolved into an outstanding filly, no matter which way you look at it. Taken by Hungry Heart as we move to the Arrowfield 3-year-old sprint. Group 2, 1,200 metres. The 3-year-olds to do battle. Here's Darren.
A lot of time for Wild Ruler, and I think despite the fact he's drawn wide out, he'll get the right run across here, drawn on the outside of the face. I think Wild Ruler could probably land fourth with cover, and on the good track today, should be too good. I do have a lot of respect, though, for the Queenslander Isotope, and I think Prague's going...
A winner like the end of last prep. She ran second in Nature Strip, and she had no luck behind Masked Crusader last start. Well, that looks very strong form for a race like this.
Doesn't it, when you go through it like that?
Golan.
Yeah, very good filly with a fantastic record. Stables in form, drawn to advantage. Probably runs favourite here. But look, you have a look at their two records, September Run and Isotope. Isotope's not quite there yet at that level, but she gets her opportunity to get there.
Here's 350 to 460. Wild Ruler, very, very steady. On the next line of betting is a $6 chance. Dame Giselle, we told you in the preview.
Racing, and the face hit the ground running from the wide draw, but Wisdom of Water showing good speed. Isotope, Dame Giselle there. Wild Ruler gets up on the outside of the face in the early stages, so it's a pretty keen go for the lead. Further back to Rocketing Boy from Amish Boy. Then came September Run from Aim, and Prague had dropped back to last. So Wisdom of Water is the front runner from the face, and Wild Ruler not getting any cover. Planted in a 3-wide position, followed by Dame Giselle Isotope. Rocketing Boy on the outside. Then came September Run from Amish Boy. Prague moves up 3 wide, and Aim is last of a bunch field. 550 metres to run, and it's Wisdom of Water and the face going head and head. Wild Ruler been 3 wide from the start, then Dame Giselle. Isotope looking for a bit of galloping room now as Rocketing By holds its position. They come up the rise. Wisdom of Water from the face and Wild Ruler, then Rocketing By. Isotope hasn't got out of a pocket yet, then Prague the outside. Wild Ruler takes the lead of the 175. Isotope gets out now. She's giving chase, and Prague the outside. It's Wild Ruler. Wild Ruler just in front of Isotope, and Prague Wild Ruler. Oh, Isotope's lunged. It's a close one here. Wild Ruler and Isotope, who put in that final bid for victory. Prague ahead away third. Then Amish Boy from Rocketing By, September Run. Further back to Dame Giselle, Wisdom of Water the face, and Aim was the last one to finish in the time of 1:10 and some change. It's a photo.
And it's very, very close. Who has got the lunge in? Who's got it? Isotope will lunge late. Is it enough? That angle says no. It'll be Wild Ruler. Here's the photo coming through. Wild Ruler, firstly the shutter cam. Wild Ruler will get it. Wild Ruler will just last to beat Isotope. The photo should prove it, and there it is. Numbers in the frame. 1 Wild Ruler denies 9 Isotope. 2 Prague.
Then we got a little squeeze in behind them there, presented at the right time, and just beats a very good filly by a bob of the head there.
Field 3-year-old sprint, 1,200 metres, Group 2, where the boys meet the girls, and it was the colt beating the filly.
He's a good colt. He is a good colt, Wild Ruler. He's had his excuses along the way, but that ended up a beautiful barrier for him yesterday. He just got into his rhythm. We know he loves Ramwick, where he's 4 for 4 now and all that, but yeah, he's a really good sprinter, isn't he? In saying that, she's a really good filly, Isotope. She got held up for one stride there, but geez, I thought she was out in plenty of time, and some people are saying she was a certainly beat. I'm not so sure about that. You watch her here, she comes through, she's ridden along, she finds the winner's back, and you know, I thought she had enough room there, and she presents to finish off, which she did. It was only a bob of the head. She could be a real Stradbroke filly. There's no doubt about that. Prague, well, what about Prague? He's just his own worst enemy. He's just got into this habit. Just give him 2 lengths start. He would have won if he jumped, I'm convinced. And he could run well in an all-aged. And same with Amish Boy.
It's just whether you like him off of his recent form.
Sydney Cup, our 2-mile feature, Group 1, 14 to go round, and here's Darren Flindell.
It was hard not to be impressed with the big finish by Realm of Flowers at the end of the distance in the Manion Cup, having been 3 wide the entire trip, and pulled a lot of ground off Favourite Moon, and I think that's the form to follow here. Realm of Flowers from a Favourite Moon, and have to make a case.
My Emmy Bound, number 7, Craig Williams, Danny O'Brien.
Well, she's perfectly set up, dropping 5 kilos from her eye-catching Tancred run, looking back on track. track. She'll be happy there's still some give in this track.
Sydney Cup race first contested in 1862. Some champs have won it, dating right back to the dual winner in Carbine.
Yeah, Carbine, historic horse. He went on to win.
Gates are back now. They're off here over the 3,200 metres, and Spirit Ridge hopped out of the gates pretty well. Going forward, Sacramento wide out. Chapada there with Spirit Ridge. Favourite Moonlands in a great spot together with Good Idea. They're followed after 2 lengths to She's Ideal on the fence from Rondinella. Southern France going between horses. Further back to Realm of Flowers. Hush Rider back in the field. Salino caught 3 wide early stages. Then came Miami Bound from South. 2 lengths clear from Chapada and Good Idea as they race past the 1,200 metres now. Hush Rider's had a torrid run off the course, followed then by Favourite Moon. They're followed then by Southern France from She's Ideal, Spirit Ridge, then Salino. Further back to Realm of Flowers from Rondinella Sound, Miami Bound, and the Chosen One is still back last. With the lightweight, Sacramento leads down the side at the 800 metres, still a 2-length leader from Chapada. Then came Good Idea, who's still tucked away on the inside at this point. Hush Rider deeper out, followed by Favourite Moon. Now Salino starts a run, getting past Southern France. She's Ideal back on the fence. Then Sound and Rondinella starting runs at the 600. Further back to Miami Bound, Realm of Flowers, and the Chosen One is last. It's game on now, turning for home. Sacramento under siege from Chapada, Southern France, and Salino. Rounds them up on the outside, and Salino makes the move a long way out. Draws 2 lengths clear. Rondinella's coming out of the pack, then Southern France. Down the outside, Miami Bound running on, getting past Sound. It's Salino in front. Rondinella's a length away. Salino from Rondinella. They're clearing the Sydney Cup. Salino kept going from Rondinella, and Salino takes it out. Salino by a length in the cup beat Rondinella. Miami Bound third. A gap back to She's Ideal and Realm of Flowers. Further back to the Chosen One, then Good Idea, Southern France. Further back to Sound, Sacramento, then Spirit Ridge. And a big gap back to Favourite Moon is pulled up sharply together with Hush Rider, and Chapada was last in.
Number 16, Salino, gives Ronnie Stewart his biggest moment in the saddle. Number 16, Salino, Ronnie Stewart. Chris Waller. Chris Waller now has trained 124 Group 1 winners. Ronnie Stewart gets in the Sydney Cup.
Incredible, incredible. He deserves all the accolades, Ronnie Stewart. That horse pulled his arms out the whole way through there. He still wanted to just hang in a little bit, not as bad as he did the other day, and just a whip in the right hand just to keep him straight there, and he is a master, Chris Waller. He said all along.
Pulling Sydney Cup for Chris Waller. He's now won 5 with a horse right down the bottom of the page, Salino, to give Ronnie Stewart his first ever Group 1 win.
Yeah, big moment for him, and he's just too good, Chris Waller. He's been saying this is the Sydney Cup horse for a long time. Geez, he's a tough ride. Look, it didn't... On paper, you think, oh, yeah, he just went around and wasn't a good ride. This was a very good ride because this is a very difficult horse. He could have easily just got fed up with this horse mid-race and made a big move early on him because he was pulling his arms out, doing everything wrong, but he kept his cool, Ronnie. Rides light, gets the job done, just simply outstays him. He's got bad habits. Look at him wanting to hang in again there yesterday. I was all over this horse until I saw him hanging like that last start. But
so that's what turns you off?
You just can't do things, little things like that wrong.
Well, apparently you can.
Oh, well, obviously.
Well, there was a few results yesterday that were not predicted, so do what you want with that form.
Well, what stands out?
So Salino wins the Sydney Cup, and it was another milestone for Chris Waller. He now goes to, after yesterday, 124 Group 1 wins in his career, but Ronnie Stewart, who's been travelling.
OK, that was the Sydney Cup. This is the big one, the $4 million Longines Queen Elizabeth, and they're all in the yard. In fact, Very Elegant got a cheer when she walked in. So
in the last 12 months, she continues to go to new levels, Very Elegant, and I think she's a chance of flipping the result from last year, but he's got to be in it with a great shout at Dave. And let's not forget how much...
Here's number 1, the British Bulldog. Adabe Tommy Marquand rides for Newmarket trainer William Haggis.
There he is, the British Bulldog, isn't he? Look how relaxed and laid back he is there. Let's hopefully he can sort of stay interested more in the early part of his race than what he did down, and that great second up record. He will not let his supporters down here.
He presented it.
And he's ready to breathe fire again.
He is, isn't he? Look, he looked fantastic on.
Here is number 7, Very Elegant, James McDonald for Chris Waller.
Well, what can we say about her? Her record speaks for itself. She's a champion Australasian mare, beautifully ridden to beat a day of last start. Can she do it again here? We're about to find out.
Is concerned, so he goes into the top selection. Very Elegant is looking fantastic, and no knock on her whatsoever.
He's just walking past me out the front here now, and Dave, he's in cracking order. He's so relaxed and well, and that coat has come right out at him from the clipping before he...
Well, the Queen Elizabeth had its prize money lifted in 2014, Brass, from $500,000 to $4 million, and since then there have been some big-name winners, including the Mighty Winks.
That's what you get when you insert all this prize money. You get the best, and that's certainly the case.
Underway, the light is on. Gates are back now. They're off and racing. Mugger 2 left well off the inside. Sir Dragon out well. Very Elegant out well. Dave not a factor for the early speed, and Dallasan's coming across from the outside. Dallasan moves up from Very Elegant, Sir Dragon. Then came Moonga. Dave sits back in the field from Mugger 2, and Think It Over's last of all. So Dallasan takes the lead at the mile mark by a length on the 3-year-old Moonga, and Very Elegant gets a trailing position third. She just wants to over race a bit, and quickly Dave whipped up on the outside. She's still fooling around a bit, Very Elegant, and Dave moved up on the outside. So Very Elegant back to fourth now, followed by Mugger 2, who slides along the rail. So Dave's put 3 wide at this point. Further back to Sir Dragon, and Think It Over's last of all. So it's the long price Dallasan on the back up from the Doncaster, showing the way by a length on Moonga. Dave is inching close to the outside. Marquin didn't want to sit wide for any much longer there, and he put a Dave up in second spot now, and Mugger 2 got to third inside Moonga. Then Think It Over. Now Very Elegant, who was keen in the early stages, she's got shuffled back through the field. She's second last now, and Sir Dragonet's last of all. So Dallasan in front. Dave got to a clear second out the 800 metres. Mugger 2's got a great position, followed then by Moonga, followed by Think It Over. Now McDonald peels out on Very Elegant. He starts his run on the mare, and Sir Dragonet sits back and looking to get onto her back now. At the 600 metres, Dallasan in front from Dave. She starts a run, Very Elegant, rolling up on the outside of Moonga. Mugger 2 boxed up on the inside. Sir Dragonet tracks the mare, and Think It Over as the field really starts to bunch. He goes full bore into Dave. Very Elegant circled the field, and now Very Elegant moved up to a Dave. They beat off Dallasan. 2 further back to Sir Dragonet. It's a Dave. He's fighting. Very Elegant the outside. She's trying her hardest. It's a Dave, and Very Elegant in a ripping finish. A Dave's lifting. He fends off Very Elegant and Dallasan, and a Dave goes back to back. The Beast of Britain's done it. A Dave by 3/4 to Very Elegant. Dallasan third. Then Think It Over from Sir Dragonet, Mugger 2, and Moonga was last in.
We wish for a great race. Could we have got a better one than that? Dave assumes the mantle of the world's greatest here today at Royal Randwick, beating Very Elegant and Dallasan. The build-up to this race, about 2 horses, Dave and Very Elegant. They've run 1-2. Dallasan has run third and not beaten very far at all.
They're going to not do everything right, and then this horse with his bulldog, the British Bulldog, with his qualities, they just keep fighting and fighting. They've come home in 34.88. No wonder it's a bunch finish, because they slowed up and they sprinted home, and take nothing away from the winner. He is an absolute star.
There's a moment coming. This remarkable traveller to our shores, Dave. Congratulations to William Haggis, watching in from Newmarket in England, who was wishing he could be here.
Elegant circled the field, and now Very Elegant moved up to a Dave. They beat off Dallasan. 2 further back to Sir Dragonet. It's a Dave. He's fighting. Very Elegant the outside. She's trying her hardest. It's a Dave, and Very Elegant in a ripping finish. A Dave's lifting. He fends off Very Elegant and Dallasan, and a Dave goes back to back. The Beast of Britain's done it. A Dave by 3/4 to Very Elegant. Dallasan third. Think it over from Sir
All Randwick yesterday. He did it once 12 months ago, a Dave, and he came back and did it again. How hard is that to do, to travel back and forth from the UK to Australia and take on our very best? It was billed as a big match race between a Dave and Very Elegant, and they ran 1-2. But the entire field, he's not leading. We've got Dallasan going to the front, but the McDonald-Marquand tussle in these early stages is interesting.
Well, McDonald didn't want to be shoved to the fence, and he wanted, horses. He moved there for Mugger 2 to get up inside him because he knew a Dave was about to make a move. So he says, I don't want you outside me. I want you 3 deep, so you can pour a bit more speed into this race. So McDonald was adamant he didn't want to be pushed to the fence here, and he's praying for Bowman to go up inside him here, and that's where it happened. And he was nearly got there, Tom. He was going to shove McDonald straight on that fence, and then that forces Tom to make a move. But that's hardly a move. They're cantering at this stage, and it was probably Kieran McAvoy was wise to go forward, and he's got the best result out of his horses leading here. I was surprised he waited here. We've got all these horses here bunched up and ready to go, and I thought, and then McDonald had to make a move here. They just got it too soft, and she got back to her old light mouth habits during that race. That was only tempo related, but look at him here. There's a length and a half covering the lot of them, and he's just, the British Bulldog is a really good name for him because that's just him. He is an absolute fighter, this horse, and he's did everyone proud. There's no doubt about it. She went down in a blaze of glory. I'm Very Elegant. She, just wasn't run to suit her like most in that race. Dallasan was good. Well, you can go through. Think It Over was amazing. To think he missed last week and can back up in a race like that and really tough it out that last bit as well.
Yeah, amazing. And he beat the Ranvet. It was the other way round by the same margin as well.
They'll be linked forever, these two horses.
They will, and I think that we should give credit to Chris Waller for being such a good competitor to William Haggis, and same with James McDonald, and both Very Elegant. She lost no admirer. He wouldn't stand still.
He wouldn't stand still. When he's like that, he's on song.
He's only had 20. That was only his 22nd start, so he hasn't been overtaxed, that's for sure.
He's over $6 million Australian dollars now.
Incredible.
In prize money.
Yeah, he's done a great job.
And it shows...
Another Group 1 still to come on this program. The Mowat and Shondon Queen of the Turf Stakes. Darren Flindell, you've called some wonderful moments from up in that broadcast box. You've just added another.
Yeah, that was a very special race, and finished there by Dave and Very Elegant. Well, the Queen of the Turf, Probabile, is going great guns. I saw her trial here recently. There was an outstanding performance by Probabile, and I think she'll be pretty hard to beat here. I do think Quantum Mechanic, though...
Number 1 is Probabile. Kieran McAvoy for Jamie Richards.
Well, there's 5 weeks since obviously not suited on that wet track in the All-Star Mile. They say soft 6 and was a lot worse than that. Look, just face it, she's a 115 rated mare at weight for age. Really falls into place for her here, and she's...
20. Race at Ascot on Sky Racing 2. Colette is closest to it and attracting some interest. $8 into $6.50. Going to
Racing. Oh, dawdling out of the gates, Odium, and Odium's going to settle 4 lengths last. Graceful Glamour jumped well. Nimmerly out of the gates really well. Sits up on the outside of Vangelic, and McAvoy's got the favourite Probabile up running 4th. Couple off then to Quantum Mechanic from Vanna Girl. Further back to Star. Graceful Glamour loves to dominate. She's doing that. Leads by 3/4 to Nimmerly, has got the great spot. Up on the outside, Vangelic Parks 3rd. Then the favourite Probabile. Further back to Vanna Girl, a half into Quantum Mechanic. A gap at 2.5 to Missy Beale. On the inside of Star Roll. Then came to Toya from Colette. Rich Hips, All Saints Eve. At Odium, the last one, 12 off the lead. So it's Graceful Glamour in front by a half length to Nimmerly. McAvoy pulls out now on Probabile, and he's starting to build up the revs at the 600 metres. Vangelic still behind. Then came Vanna Girl. Quantum Mechanic gets behind the favourite as they come around the turn, and a couple off to Starrella. So it's Graceful Glamour being eyeballed by Nimmerly, and Probabile stoked up in 3rd. Quantum Mechanic runs on well the outside, clear from Vangelic, Vanna Girl, and further back to Natoya making ground, but Probabile responds to the urgings, got a length clear from Quantum Mechanic. Natoya's running on. It's Probabile in front from Natoya going to 2nd. Probabile a half in front to Natoya. She's coming hard, Natoya, going to Probabile, and Natoya got up to win it. Natoya, a last last stride victory in the Queen of the Turf. Edged out the favourite Probabile. Quantum Mechanic third from Vangelic. Then came Vanna Girl and Colette late on the scene. Further back to All Saints E from Nimmerley. Then Rich Hip, Starrel, Odium, Missy Beale, and Graceful Glamour drop back to finish last.
Well, here we go again. Natoya has won another Group 1. Nearing the end of her career, she can add a Group 1 Queen of the Turf to her win in the Doncaster. She's a two-time Randwick Mile winner and gets right up on the post. Are we sure? Yes, we are. Half head, but Natoya beats Probabile, two great mares over the mile here at this famous course. The numbers are up 5, 1 and 6 after the Queen of the Turf.
Well, the class race.
She loves the Randwick Mile. Absolutely loves the Randwick Mile. She's a Doncaster winner. Now she is a Queen of the Turf winner. Here she is launching down the outside in the Group 1 yesterday.
And from the point of the turn onwards, you could have nearly claimed her the winner, the way she come round there, and Tommy Berry just sprung her into action here. And she, well, what a story. She just loves this Randwick Mile, loves the jar out of the track. And I think Probabile was maybe ridden a little bit close. I'm just looking, clutching at straws for her supporters, but she just got there a bit soon and raced a little bit closer than I thought she should have. But, you know, that's, like I said, she was, at the end, she was probably beaten by on a merits by a pretty good mare, and we know when she puts in, she puts right in. So
yeah, she's also a good wet tracker.
Yeah, she loves to stick out of the ground, and like most of the Sebrings. And Quantum Mechanics had a good prep here. Colette, she just hasn't gone on with it since those two big runs back, but still was far from disgrace there.
Graceful.
The Tab Sapphire Stakes over 1,200 metres to round out this massive day at Randwick. And here...
I'm probably a little bit concerned about the inside draw now for her, and probably in a position to make a stronger case now for the Kiwi and Trivier, who can produce a big finish, and watch out for...
They're waiting for a win, the Kiwis. This might be the one. 41 days. She's an interesting mare with a great record. Looks to have class, looks to have a lovely big mare. She's had 2 trials, wasn't at her best in 2 runs last prep, and Joe just put her away, so if right, she's a winning chance.
Yeah, she looks ready to...
Well, as short as 13 is now 17 to $26 for Sweet Deal, out from 21. The pick of the yard, Adel.
Championships. Started press of the button in the rough, and Adelong anticipated the start really well with Allison at Tuffy. Season's handy in the early stages, but Adelong's going to take up the lead rather clearly. Fasika on the bridle goes to second from California Zimbal, Allison at Tuffy, and then came Bavella. Off the course in Trivier about midfield with Tafane. Wunderbar just in front with Allison at Tuffy. Then came Fiesta from Tricky Gal, Sweet Deal, Jen Rules, and Air to Wear is the last one. So it's Adelong being pressed here by Fasika. California Zimbal in third on Trivier, taking closer order out wide. Then Seasons back on the inside of Bavella and Wunderbar 3 out. Further back to Tafane. They've certainly got no gallop here. Tricky Gal off the course from Allison at Tuffy, Fiesta, Jen Rules, Sweet Deal, and Air to Wear into the straight, and Adelong just in front from Fasika. Seasons going up the inside, and Trivier needs to lift out wide. Then came Wunderbar and California Zimbal. It's Fasika taking the lead of the 200 from Adelong. In Trivier starting to dig in now. She's in for the fight late. It's Fasika in front from Trivier. Wunderbar between them. Fasika in Trivier. Fasika the inside. May have just won. It's a photo. Fasika from Trivier. They're wide apart. Wunderbar between them, probably third. Sweet Deal closing off with Tafane, Jen Rules. Then came Air to Wear. Further back to Fiesta, Seasons. Adelong weakened out from Tricky Gal, Bavella, Allison at Tuffy, and California Zimbal.
Well, you just had to be a believer that Joe Pride had her right. He said before the race, she'll win if I've got her right, if the real Fasika turns up. Well, in a game of centimetres, he was right and has just held on.
They really slowed up in that race there, so the fast race turned into a slow race, and then you have to give her the second filly. She sat 4 deep, no cover the whole way, and Wunderbar not suited by a fast race turned into a slow race, which didn't help the back markers, but take nothing away from Fasika.
So for Seeker,
Go to the final race of the day. We'll come back. We've got other races to look at. But Joe Pride spoke to us prior to this race and said, if the real Fasika turns up, she'll win. But he said, I can't tell you whether she will turn up. But he said, I think I've got her right. She was ready to be retired if she didn't run well here.
Incredible, yeah. Look, and she gets out and wins a really good race here. You know, Group 2 Sapphire Stakes, and she's just a racehorse. Like, there were worrying signs with the trials, considering how she used to trial as a younger horse. But Joe was right. I think the masterstroke was when she had those two runs last preparation, that he thought, oh, she's not, she hasn't come up how I like her to come up. You put them away straight away, because once you either got these...
Sound.
Entrevier is very good, and she was gallant in defeat wide all the way. It had to make a sharp sprint from the top of the straight. She's been up a while. She is very good. I look forward to seeing her in Australia again. Wandabar, busting to win another race. Sweet deal. That was a big return to form from her, but I think she goes to a mare's sale.
another Group 3 contest coming up, the ACY Securities Frank Packer Plate over 2,000 metres, and this mounting yard is brought to you a minute out from jump time, Greg. Great race coming up, the Packer Plate. It has been over the years, often horses that run lucky or placed in the Derby use one of the highlights, and Duff, it is just 3 horses being singled right out here, particularly 2.
It's a back, and they're off and racing, and Achiever given an aggressive ride out of the gates from barrier 7, immediately charging forward. On the outside of Real Peace, Santa Deal's pretty handy, followed by Senoctober. Cormiati's off the course, High Supremacy stays one off the fence. Quay gets back on the inside of the favourite Lion's Roar. So it's and Quay has been taken right back to last there by Williams. He's pulling pretty hard, Quay, and he'll be about 8 lengths off the lead. So it's Achiever in front. Then came Lion's Roar, just shading Senoctober. He's still pulling hard at the rear there, Quay. He's resented being taken back, and he still continues to pull as they go to the 1,000-metre mark. So it's Achiever in front by 2 lengths on Cormiati. Then came Real Peace. High Supremacy goes to 4th. He had to let Quay go. He was pulling too hard back in the field. So Quay starts to tear around them. Santa Deal back to 3rd last. Lion's Roar sat back, and Senoctober's now been shuffled back to last. So it's Achiever in front of Quay, who gets to 2nd now. Then came Cormiati from Real Peace being shoved along. Further back to High Supremacy, Santa Deal. Lion's Roar starting a run, moving up 3 wide, and Senoctober is the last one. Achiever leads coming around the turn from the battling Quay. Real Peace railed up, getting to the outside, High Supremacy, and Lion's Roar is the wider. So Achiever swings 4 lengths clear. High Supremacy gives chase, and then came Lion's Roar 2 further back. Senoctober starting to come into the picture. It's Achiever in front of High Supremacy. Senoctober, Lion's Roar's grinding. Senoctober the grey down the outside in the hands of Hugh Bowman. Senoctober at odds goes home to win the Frank Packer Plate. High Supremacy 2nd, Achiever 3rd, Lion's Roar grinding 4th, and then came Santa Deal from Real Peace. Quay, well, your tickets are in the bin in the first half of the race, and Cormiati finished back with it.
Senor Toba has announced himself today as a horse of the future at massive odds, 26.90 and 360. Has
very good tactics. And nearly, I thought at one stage he was going to steal it on Achiever, because they sort of canted up front, and then he went for home, and I thought, hello, you've pinched it. And so he's run well. The favourites, Lion's Roar had a lot to do back in distance. He may have just come to the end of it, and that Quay, well, he had a real bee in his bonnet yesterday, didn't he? He did not want to be ridden quietly and didn't settle, wanted to charge up heels, and they've got some thinking to do with him. But interesting horse to win. Hard to say how good he is.
I like him. Yeah. I like him a lot. I think he's a nice horse. I didn't like him before the race, but I like him afterwards. Just analysing him, he's got a great...
Group 1 action here at Royal Randwick. The Mowat and Chandon Champagne Stakes, 1,600 metres. The 2-year-olds in action. This mounting yard is brought to you.
Vaughn is a class horse as well. He's a danger, and they really do stand out as far as types are concerned.
A very long while to be $34 into $5.50 throughout the week. Even today, $15
$6 into $5.50. I'm talking about Port Louis, the horse on your screen there now with Huey Bowman in the saddle. It's not favourite at the moment. Halal is the favourite. The pick of the yard here, the two. So Halal and Captivant have been fighting out favouritism. Converge has been on their heels. But in the old, this has been 33-1 into 9-2. Port Louis, 550 on the NOP, 710 on the tape. Port Louis 480 and Captivant $5. Well, I can tell you, Greg, we're
back and they're off and racing. I've been there in Akahata over the last two out. Morris Dad jump well with Conversion. Wolfburn in third early. Anna Kerr handy together with Daily Bugle. Then came Captivant, who takes a spot down on the rails on the inside of Halal. Queen of Wizardry next, followed then by Lease from I've Been There, Gin Martini, Pat Nakahara, and the heavily back Port Louis from the wide draw settles last. So it's midfield from I've Been There, then Queen of Wizardry, Gin Martini, Patton, Akahara and Port Louis, a dozen off them's last of all. 800 metres to run. Morris will be down a length and a half now to Wolfburn as the pace increases here. 2 lengths to Daily Bugle, Converge fourth the rails. Further back to Lease, then came Anna Kerr from Captivant, Queen of Wizardry. Halal's got it further back in the field now from Patton, I've Been There. Gin Martini shaken up from Port Louis and Akahara's last. Morris has been at a dominant leader around the turn. Wolfburn making hard work of it. Converges railing through, giving chase to the front runner. 2 further back to Captivant behind. Inside the 300, Morris and Dad being joined now by Converge. 2 lengths clear from Halal and Captivant starting their runs. Converge hits the lead from Captivant, Halal. They're both giving serious chase. It's Converge being tackled by Captivant. Halal the outside. Captivant a neck up on Halal, and Captivant won the Champagne. Captivant a half length there to Halal. Third between Converge and I've Been There, and Port Louis hitting the line hard. They got to Morris's Me Dad, then Gin Martini late. Further back to Akahata, Queen of Wizardry, Daily Bugle from Lease, Wolfburn and Patton.
Captivant, the number 1 saddlecloth, has won his Group 1. And in the process, the Snowden name is now attached to 5 Champagne Stakes winners. Number 1, Captivant, has won the Champagne Stakes, beating Halal. There was little bit...
Saved the ground on the inside. The drier track suited Captivant, and surprisingly, they both got to very, very good odds there. He's done a really good job, Converge, and the Queenslander has...
Captivant wins the Champagne Stakes, and a much-deserved win for a horse who's been around in just about everything.
Yep, and he's got a touch of class about him. Luck's a virtue. It's I think he was in the float into the paddock. And then they heard the scratching of Animo, and the float turns around on the highway and brings him back into the stable. And here he is, a Group 1 son of capitalist, his first Group 1 winner, and I think he's a dry tracker. His 2 wins have been on dry tracks. He had that lovely draw, a perfect ride by McDonald, which was probably the difference between winning and losing. Halal, well, he's tied to the hip with him. He has been at his past few runs, and he was excellent. Converge, well, he could come back a much stronger horse, the little bloke, the next preparation. He's done a really good job in his little career to date. The Queenslander overachieved there. I've been there. I think he's a good horse, this plunge horse. Port Louis wasn't the ideal prep, 1100, 1200 mile.
When you say plunge horse, he was $34 on Wednesday. Into $4.80. And if they was 5 more minutes of betting,
he would have been favourite.
Yeah,
it's he obviously got back in the field and finished off really hard and got that bump on the turn, which was his own. Huey Bowman got a pretty severe suspension for it.
2nd of the 5th until the 19th of the 5th, he's out.
Okay, so the 17-day suspension there. So, but I think he's obviously a nice horse in the making. What do you make of him?
Yep, I would liked him all the way through. I actually liked him when he ran 2nd the other day at Canterbury behind $1 Billion.
More Group 1 action here at Royal Randwick. This is the all-age stakes sponsored by Schweppes, 1400 metres. More Group 1 action here at Royal Randwick. This is the all-age stakes sponsored by Sweps, 1,400 metres, weight for age. This mounting up.
His form prior to that is outstanding for a race like this. The Randwick dry as he's go. He's drawn in close like that previous winner. He can be ridden closer. Oh, there's a lot to like about him today.
Yeah, certainly.
This horse, and he's very likeable in everything he's done. So I know he's yet to prove himself at 1,400, but what do you want to judge him on there?
No.
One run at the end of a preparation where he went straight to the paddock. He'll be
magnificent.
Yeah, it's hard to say that at a 39th start, but 7 weeks in a trial waiting for this since the Group 1 Canterbury Stakes. Expressway winner prior to that. She's in the zone. She pushes into a...
From the yard, I think Savatiano has maintained her physique, so she can be a winning chance, and so can Masked Crusader. So I think that there's 3 horses.
100 or suit him.
There's 3 horses.
100 or suit him. Drawn out, but the fence isn't the A1 spot. Savatiano gets a better run on the map, and she's flying. Hatter is certainly a danger. For this Prague, I think, can measure up. The 3-year-old, terrific last time in the...
And the gates are back. They're off and racing. Masked Crusader jump midfield. Dreamforce speared out of the gates and is going to lead pretty comfortably here from Savatiano. Dreamforce gets about 2 lengths clear from Savatiano, and Colding pushes through on the fence. Whiteout Tagaloa looking for a spot. In advance of I Am Superman. Then came Peltzer, Cascadian back on the rails. A length for the back to Zootori. Then came Imaging. Kementari, the white cap, back on the rails. A length and a half to 50 Stars from Prague. And the favourite Masked Crusader has been taken right back to last. Dreamforce steadies the speed of the 800, a half in front of the 3-year-old Tagaloa. Colding gets a good run third, followed by Savatiano fourth. Length and a half to Cascadian, improving on the inside of I Am Superman. Peltzer deeper out. They're followed then by Kementari, Imaging off the course from Zutari. Further back to Prague, 50 Stars and Masked Crusaders last of all, and just being tapped up now as they turn. Dreamforce swings the corner in front. Colding comes off the fence, push Savatiano. Then came Tagaloa, a gap back to Imaging. Now making some good headway is Cascadian coming through the field. Colding and Savatiano, they go to the front. It's Colding and Savatiano fighting it out. Colding the inside of Savatiano. Savatiano puts the head in front from Colding. She ran out Savatiano. Colding kicked back. Cascadian late. It's a photo. Colding came back on Savatiano, who may have thrown it away. Closing off hard at the end was Cascadian and 50 Stars, followed by Kementari and Prague. Further back to Dreamforce, I Am Superman, followed by Tagaloa. Imaging, Masked Crusader didn't close off from Peltzer, and Zootori. It's a photo finish.
Hold all tickets. Who has won this? We're going to see a couple of shots here. Is it Colding or Savatiano? They're both Savatiano in the blue with the red cap. And here is the low shot. Colding. Where have they stopped it? Well, there's the photo. It's up. Colding. Number 1 Colding has won the all-age stakes and denied Savatiano another Group 1 win. Cascadian's got up to run third in front of Prague and Masked Crusader. Colding 0.9, and the track record is Trapeze Artist 120.33, which he set in this race. 120.33. They've run 120.9. Brenton Abdallah wins.
Coming through the field, Colding and Savatiano. They go to the front. It's Colding and Savatiano fighting it out. Colding the inside of Savatiano. Savatiano puts the head in front from Colding. She ran out Savatiano. Colding kicked back. Cascadian late. It's a photo. Colding came back on Savatiano, who may have thrown it away. Closing off hard at the...
Is now the winner of an Epsom, a George Main, a Golden Eagle, an all-age stakes. Put that on any resume and you're talking about one great horse.
Yep, and just perfect. He just got his perfect conditions. He got his dry track. He got a beautiful barrier. He got the right ride. He's a class horse, and this is his this is his go. Dry tracks, Randwick. He loves it, even though he's an Eagle winner at Rose Hill. He's just a terrific horse. The Godolphin left home wondering what could have been there with second and third. Savatiano, she was terrific. First up 7 weeks, at 1,400 metres. He was just a little bit too tough for that last little bit. And was he unlucky? He may have, he was got a perfect run through. He just got held up for a stride, Cascadian, so he's run right up to his best form. It was one of them races where they were bunched together at the finish, and you can make cases. You know, Masked Crusaders run the best sectionals late, but you can't. Finishing speed's nothing if you haven't got early speed. You know the old saying. 50 Stars caught the eye for a horse we think is a wet tracker. So, is this strong form being a bunch field? I still say yes, because that's the best we got at the moment.
Yep, I thought Prague was also very good as well.
Outstanding.
Yeah, he's got a really good race in him, Prague, definitely. And I think the blindfold looked to have made a difference. He did jump with them yesterday. The run of the race for a future reference was 50 Stars, though. I agree with you. I think he's off to Brisbane, and he's going to be very competitive up there.
Let's go and hear from Has a Slot. The Whitby Werrett slot have got Masked Crusader. Of course, Neil Werrett's a part owner of Masked Crusader and also in the slot, and there's a number of people